Hi guys, Jeff Gamble, Indianapolis, Indiana. I'm super excited that I've actually partnershiped with Cody. We actually became friends and met at another company. I happened to be up in Wisconsin attending an event. We got to talking, traded numbers, kind of stayed in touch ever since. And I was able to share with him what I was working on, and he's like, yeah, absolutely, I know a ton of people this would make sense for. And the topic we're talking about is credit repair. So we just need a huge favor. We actually want you to know what we're working on and how it works, so if you happen to come across the right person, you can actually refer them to us. My background actually happens to be that I made every financial mistake you could possibly make. At 19, I got married. I was still in college. While I was in college, about 6 months after that, I decided to go self-employed and quit school. So I went home and told my mom, who's a school teacher, my dad, who's a college professor, that I wanted to quit and I was going to do the self-employed thing. And that conversation did not go over very well. They were pissed. But they also gave me a bunch of warnings. And one of those warnings was, you know, hey, what about this? What about that? What about insurance? What about long-term? And about 6 months later, I got sick, went to the doctor sent me to another doctor who sent me to a specialist, and the specialist ran a bunch of tests and came back and said, we're sorry to inform you, but you have cancer, which is never something you want to hear at any age. So at that point, there was, a year in the hospital, there were 2 surgeries, there was 6 months of chemotherapy. The good news is I made it. The bad news is I owed it. I owed all of it because I had no insurance because I had gone self-employed. I decided not to throw in the towel. I was going to fight my way out. I was like, well, now how do you make a lot of money to pay all this off? And the only thing that came to me was what I kept seeing on TV, which was no money down, Charlton Sheets, buying houses. I thought, well, I should get into real estate. So that's what I did. I went and got my license. I got the no money down course and started reading that. I started flipping houses. I actually became pretty successful at it. I was able to buy and contract and wholesale 18 houses in 36 months. Had a blast. Started making really good money. I actually started a real estate team. I became a broker. Ended up with 15 people on my team. We were making a ton of money. And then all of a sudden, unfortunately, 2007 and 8 happened. 2007 and 8 were pretty devastating. All of a sudden, mortgage companies started closing, banks started closing, builders started going out of business. A builder called me that I had a bunch of deals with, and they said, hey, look, we're going out of business, and the 9 closings that you thought you were going to have aren't happening. At that point, I had everything that I thought was successful. I had the 4-bedroom house that was 3,000 square feet. I had the 2-car garage. I had new cars in the garage. I had travel. It was, a corner lot, white picket fence, the whole 9 yards. 6 months later, I had nothing. Everything collapsed. All the money was gone. All the success was gone, and I was sitting in front of an attorney. And the attorney's like, well, we added everything up, all the paperwork that you brought us, and pulled your credit, and basically you owe approximately $3 million. And unfortunately, there is no payment plan for $3 million. So you have these choices. Choice number 1, you can get on a plane somewhere we can't find you. And that sounded really good, honestly, but that's not what I did. Second choice was you have to win the lottery, and maybe more than once, or maybe you got a rich uncle that can pay this off, and those weren't either options. But the third choice, he said, you're going to have to file bankruptcy, wipe all this out, and start over again. And unfortunately, that's what I had to do. I had to file Chapter 7. I then had to wait 60 days to have it discharged, and then everything was wiped out. Not only was everything wiped out, but my credit was wiped out. And all form of success that I had was wiped out. So I was basically starting behind the 8 ball at 0, and then some, with a crappy credit score. Now, I did something that most people don't do. I actually went online and read the Fair Credit Reporting Act, which is not something you want to read, but I read it. And I also read about 3 credit repair books. Life After Bankruptcy was one of them, Basic Credit Repair for Dummies. Read those, and I put a 6-step system together to put myself back together. So the day out of bankruptcy, I actually pulled my credit score, called Brian, who was in the mortgage business, and said, hey, can you get this pulled? And, he got me a tri-merge, which I don't even think you're allowed to do anymore, but sorry, Brian. I got it, and he's like, dude, your credit score sucks. It's a 400, and you have a just over 500 credit score. I implemented those 6 steps, and 7 months from that day, I had Brian pull my credit again, and he was like, really, dude? It's only been 7 months. I'm like, just pull it. He called me back, and he's like, how the did you do this? I had a 691, just over 700, and a 729 was my high score. We sat down, I ran him through the 6 steps, and ever since then, I've been known as the guy that helps people with credit. I've actually taught this to thousands of people. I've helped hundreds of people do this, be able to recover, be able to get houses, be able to get cars. But it took a lot of work. It did take a lot of work. I had some background people didn't have. I had some knowledge people didn't have. I obviously read all that information and had time to do it, and I had some connections people don't have. That's why I was able to do mine so fast. Fast forward to December 2017, some friends of mine that I was good friends with that knew me as a credit guy approached me with an opportunity and said, hey, look, we found this company that does credit repair. I said, okay, that's great. And they said, well, we want to share it with you. We just want you, your thoughts. It's automated. And I'm like, yeah, I've heard that before. So I was skeptical, but I was like, they approached me the right way. I'm like, I'll listen. And they went through and actually told me about this company. So Jeff actually got me on the phone with this guy, James. And James, I had known from the same company, had been really successful. And he's like, look, this company is actually out of Farmington Hills, Michigan. And they started doing this in 2004. I was like, wow, that's kind of, that's a while ago, 14 years. And he said for the first 10 years, they just sold the product traditionally, traditional marketing, radio, newspaper, magazine, television, hooked up with realtors. Everything was done in-house. And about 4 years ago, they decided to start an outside sales team to actually market it. And there's a bunch of different things that they cover inside of basically their protection plan membership is what they call it, but it's credit repair is the focus. So let me just give you a quick list of what's in this is what he said. Let me give you a quick list of what's in the package. I was like, okay. He's like, credit repair is number 1. Number 2 is they have a credit builder program teaching you how to get credit and how to grow it. 3 is they have credit attorneys on staff in case of harassment or payment plan or litigation. 4, they have something called Smart Credit. Smart Credit is like Credit Karma, where it gives you like all 3 credit bureaus and scores and updates. 5 is LifeLock, which is the number 1 marketed identity theft program out there. Obviously, if you're going to fix your credit, you want to keep it that way. 6 is Debt Zero. Debt Zero is a get out of debt structuring plan. It's like a spreadsheet and with some counseling and information on how to do it the fastest way, kind of like Dave Ramsey's snowball technique. 7 is My Care Plan. My Care Plan actually provides you a will and a testament. A will and a trust. A will and a trust. So that way it's like your last love letter to your family. Everybody's going to need one. They just do it and teach you what to do. 8 is Financial Lockbox. Basically a file in cyberspace that you can upload every document that you basically will ever need to start over again. So it has a list of stuff, you want to upload like social and birth date or birth certificate, and you want to upload your insurances and your title to your house and all your financials, which makes sense because we have 1,000 codes nowadays, just in case fire, theft, gets lost, or somebody passes away. You can have this and a beneficiary. You can press a button and get all that information back at one time. And then they have 3 programs to save money. They've got a shopping site to save money, they have a travel site to save money, and they have a prescription card to save money, 15 to 80% off prescriptions. And last, they have an education portal called Family Mint that teaches kids and does education about financing. That whole package is $89 a month. One-time $99 setup. So James is like, look, here's how it works. It's $188 for somebody's first month. And then every additional month they pay $89 if they're still in the program. It's month to month. Here's how fast it works. Typically what they find is within the first 40 to 45 days, you will get the first round of updates back. There's going to be changes at that point, and then they send out the next round of disputes and challenges against your credit. They've been able to remove all kinds of stuff like, the hard stuff, bankruptcies, foreclosures, back child support, car repossessions, late payments, bad credit cards, charge-offs, medical bills, etc., etc. If it can be challenged, they're going to do it. If it is negative, they're going to go after it. It does not mean that every single thing can be taken off. It just means they're going to challenge it and find if there's a technicality. Basically, there's 2 things with credit repair. One is the way they put it on there, and the other is the accuracy of it. If either one of those are wrong and they catch them, they can kind of catch them on a technicality and pull it off, which improves your credit score. I was skeptical. I still was kind of hard to believe. They're like, look, you just log in, follow these steps, and I followed all the steps. I got a packet in the mail about a week later. The packet had a packet inside of it, 3 packets for each one of the credit bureaus. I signed each one of them, put them in an envelope, mailed them off. That was the end of December. And I thought, I don't know. I mean, is this really, really true? Then at the end of January, I got an update on my phone. And I looked at it. It was from FES, and it says, your credit score has increased 41 points. And I was like, wow. I mean, what impressed me wasn't the 41 points. What impressed me was it was automated. I didn't have to talk to anybody. The computer knew what to do. I then was still skeptical. I went over to another application that I have on my phone, and I checked there because I have my credit score there, and my credit score had gone up 41 points. I was like, damn, this is pretty cool. So at that point, I just started sharing that information with people, and I called James back and Jeff, and I got on the phone, and I'm like, look, guys, I know the company's expanding. Who are you looking for? They said, well, there's 3 kinds of people we're looking for. Outside of people who need credit repair, there's 3 kinds of people we're looking for when we expand the company. Number 1 is we're looking for inside sales reps. That's somebody who sells credit repair to another person. It's really simple how it works. If you're an agent of the company and you market that plan, meaning you don't have to do credit repair, but you just tell somebody about it and refer to the company will take out of that $188, they're going to pay you $100 of that $188. They're also going to pay you an additional $12 out of every time they make that $89 membership. So the first month you're going to earn $112 to refer that to somebody, and then you earn $12 each additional month they stay in the program. Average person stays in the program about 6 months. So, and that's an average across the board in credit repair, not necessarily this company, just in general. Most people stay in credit repair about 6 months. So you can do the math on that. The second type of person they're looking for is somebody to open up corporate accounts. They want somebody with business-to-business sales. If you have questions about that, call us. We'll get you the info. And the third type of person that I was really excited about is they were looking for recruiter trainers, both part-time and spare time, which is what they're looking for salespeople, part-time and spare time. A recruiter trainer just helps us find and expand the company for people who need their credit done. I used it as well, and who want to turn around and share it with other people, part-time or full-time, and there's a whole nother compensation plan on that. That's where the big money is. And if you need more details on that, I'm not here to get you started or anything. Just provide the information, let you know what we do. Cody and I just appreciate you guys watching this video. If you have any questions, contact Cody, get back with him. If he can't answer it and he can't, help you out, get me on the phone, I'll help you out. We just appreciate you for listening. If you run into somebody, send them our way. Thank you so much, and have a great day.